insane!
You're violating our freedoms with these notices! Its flag represents our rights. Your rights are violating community standards. Look at the violation!
The quiet suburban street of Rose Bend Crossing had seen its fair share of lawn drama. Overgrown hedges, mismatched shutters, Christmas lights left up until February. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared it for the day Evelyn Hargrove opened her mailbox and found her own flag shredded into strips, stuffed into a manila envelope with a bright red HOA violation notice stapled on top. The words unauthorized political symbol were stamped in aggressive capital letters, like someone wanted to bruise her with ink alone. Evelyn stood on her porch for a long time, holding the torn fabric in her hands. It had once been a thin blue line flag, a quiet show of respect for the officers she'd spent the last decade supporting, long before she ever imagined her husband would one day be sworn in as the city's new police chief. She had hung the flag respectfully, properly, according to code, on a small pole mounted by her garage. She had done everything right. And yet the HOA president, Marlene Fulton, had cut it down herself. Not fined her, not warned her, cut it down, with scissors, on camera. But Evelyn didn't react. She didn't storm into the HOA office. She didn't post in the neighborhood group. She didn't even tell her husband. Not yet. Instead, she carried the shredded pieces inside, laid them flat on the dining table, and stared at them like someone trying to memorize the starting point of a war. Before we go deeper, before the confrontation, before the unbelievable fallout, before the most politically charged HOA meltdown this neighborhood had ever seen, welcome to Honorbound Tales. If you're new here, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and drop your location in the comments so we know just how far our stories travel across the world. Now, let's get back into a story that shook an entire community from the inside out. The resentment building inside Evelyn wasn't just about the flag. It was about the message. A slash across the idea that she had the right to honor the people who protected the city. A dismissal of her identity, her history, her family. A message sent not with words, but with shredded fabric. The next morning, she found something new taped to her door. A picture of her empty flag mount circled in red marker with the words, "Second offense, $250 fine." Second offense, as if Evelyn herself had removed the flag, shredded it, and mailed it to her own house. And that, right there, that was when Evelyn finally told her husband. Police Chief Daniel Hargrove wasn't known for dramatics. He was calm, measured, disciplined in a way that made people sit up straighter when he walked by. But when he held those shredded pieces of cloth in his own hands, every muscle in his jaw flexed so tightly it looked carved from stone. "Who did this?" he asked. Evelyn's answer was quiet, steady. "The HOA president. She came onto our property, she cut it down, and she mailed it back to me." Daniel gently placed the pieces back on the table. "Get your coat," he said. "We're taking a walk." Across the neighborhood, behind tinted windows and carefully manicured hedges, homeowners peered out at the sight of the new couple walking side by side, hands linked, steps slow, expressions unreadable. Most of the community still had no idea who they really were. They thought Evelyn was just another new homeowner. They thought Daniel was a contractor or an engineer or maybe a teacher. They didn't know he was the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in the entire county. And they certainly didn't know what contract the HOA had signed 3 years ago. The Private Security Patrol contract. The one worth $3.8 million. The one overseen by policy and by law by the Office of the City Police Chief. The one that required annual approval to remain valid. Only a handful of people in the city government even knew the HOAs uniquely fell under the police chief's discretionary review. And none of the board members had bothered to check the name of the new chief before they decided to escalate things with his wife. They reached the HOA office at 10:14 a.m. Marlene Fulton, The self-appointed guardian of neighborhood values was inside arguing with another board member about mailbox heights when the door opened. Her voice faltered immediately when she saw who walked in. Evelyn stepped forward, cool and composed. "You cut down my flag," she said softly. "You trespassed. You vandalized my property. And you mailed it back to me." Marlene straightened her blazer like she was preparing for a debate stage. "It violated the new neutrality rule regarding political symbols. This neighborhood agreed on it." "No, you agreed on it," Evelyn replied. "You pushed it through without vote, without notice, and without any authority to override state flag protocols." Marlene scoffed. "This is just a misunderstanding. Surely we can resolve this." Daniel stepped forward, calm but unblinking. The presence in the room shifted instantly, like gravity had changed direction. He extended his badge, not in aggression, not in intimidation, but with the quiet formality of someone who understood the weight of every action he took. "Ma'am, I am Chief Daniel Hargrove of the Meadowbrook Police Department." Marlene froze. The entire room froze. "And you have interfered with a lawful display protected under state ordinance. You have trespassed, you have vandalized property, and you have mailed vandalized materials to my home." Someone behind her whispered, "He's the new chief?" Another murmured, "Oh my God." Marlene attempted to laugh. "This is just a misunderstanding. Surely we can resolve this." Daniel nodded. "We will, but not in the way you think." He placed his badge back into his jacket. "Effective immediately, I am withdrawing approval for the HOA's private security patrol contract." The room gasped. "That contract," he continued, "was renewed annually under my authority. As of 30 minutes ago, the city has rescinded all approval. Your patrol loses operating privileges in this neighborhood starting today." Marlene's face drained of color. "That contract, our budget, our safety?" "You'll be responsible," Daniel said. "If you still want private patrols, you will now fund them out of pocket, every dollar, every hour." The silence was crushing. Board members stared at Marlene like she had personally detonated a bomb under the table. Daniel stepped back. "We'll leave you to sort it out." Evelyn leaned in just long enough to whisper, "You never should have touched my flag." When the Hargroves left the office, the neighborhood didn't just watch. They filmed, whispered, texted, screenshotted, and gossiped so fast the story reached the entire subdivision within 15 minutes. By sunset, the HOA inbox had 600 angry emails. By midnight, board members began resigning one by one. By the next morning, the private patrol was gone. Just gone. No car, no night shift, no presence at all. And the neighborhood group chat was pure chaos. But the unraveling didn't stop there. Without the security patrol, the HOA president was legally required to provide alternative enforcement for overnight patrols, something she quickly learned would personally cost her more than $11,000 per month. The board refused to cover it, members refused to approve it, no one was going to pay for what was, ultimately, her mistake. By the end of the week, Marlene was facing calls for impeachment, a petition to suspend her authority, and a recommended investigation into misuse of HOA funds for unauthorized enforcement actions. And Evelyn? She quietly rehung a new thin blue line flag, this time larger, sturdier, with reinforced stitching. No one dared to touch it. Not a whisper of objection, not a passive-aggressive note, not a single sideways look. Some neighbors brought over baked goods just to say welcome. Others apologized on behalf of the HOA. Kids on bikes slowed down just to wave. And for the first time since moving in, Evelyn felt something settle inside her. Not triumph, not pride, but the steady warmth of justice landing exactly where it needed to. She didn't want war. She didn't want drama. She didn't even want revenge. She wanted respect. and she got it. That's the thing about power, real power. It doesn't shout, it doesn't threaten, it doesn't flex. It simply stands its ground and the world adjusts accordingly. And now, if you're still here, first, thank you. Stories like this mean something different to everyone, but they all remind us of one truth. Sooner or later, people reveal who they really are when they think no one is watching. Before you go, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and drop your location in the comments so we know just how far our stories travel across the world. And here's the question I want to leave you with today. What's the moment when someone tried to take away something important to you and had no idea who they really were dealing with?